Scotland's landscape is constantly changing. Roads, pylons and phone masts have sprouted up across the country. The Scottish people have, for better or for worse, adapted to these changes and allowed them to fade into the background. But one structure stands out from all others: the wind turbine. With more areas being planned for wind farm development, can the Scottish people accept these structures as part of the landscape and as part of normal everyday life? The Scottish landscape is world-renowned for its natural beauty. Rolling hills, lochs and glens are enjoyed every year by thousands of tourists from all over the world. But in actuality, only a small part of the country is still untouched. Most of the landscape has become part of human infrastructure, things we use every day. Wind farms are just the latest in a long line of additions to the Scottish landscape.
What you need to remember is you're driving on a road with streetlights next to it and pylons and other things like that. So you're seeing other infrastructure, but because you're using it, somehow it seems kind of different.
The difference is that the idea of using a wind farm seems abstract compared to driving on a road or using the phone. But they are used just as much. There are 900 turbines in Scotland, but wind energy contributes only a small percentage to the national grid. However, the total amount of energy consumed in Scotland is so large that even a small part is significant. In order to fully get the benefits from this renewable energy source, the wind turbines must be placed in windy areas, and this makes all Scotland an ideal candidate. The wind is indigenous to Scotland. It helps to carve the landscape and is a natural resource that can be found in all parts of the country. To make use of this abundant source of energy, more and more wind farms are being built on Scotland's hillside, and more importantly, being noticed.
Because of what they do, they are in prominent positions. They're on the top of a hillside to gain, the best access to the wind and such like. So they always are in a prominent position.
There are clearly issues in terms of where they are. I mean, there are good places and there are bad places. I mean, a lot of the kind of choices are to do with their performance. But clearly, you're not going to put kind of turbines in Glencoe or something like that, no matter how well performing they are.
Because turbines are being placed where people can see and react to them, the design of the turbines has become an important issue.
As a piece of design, they're actually quite slick and simple, befits their form. Generally, look for clean lines in a design. That's my personal preference. Things should be contextual. So the design for a city centre site will be different, say, for something that sits alone in the country on a green field site. So context has quite a lot to actually do with the way that you develop a design.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and people, will look at wind turbines and see them kind of very differently. Some people think they're very ugly, some people think they're very kind of beautiful. Anything which is well engineered is a thing of beauty. I mean, I think that's the kind of key thing. You can look out from Glasgow and see the big kind of turbines on the moor, and it just looks fantastic. I mean, I particularly like the fact that you can see it from Glasgow City Centre. You can stand at Charing Cross and see these things kind of going round.
At present, Many of Scotland's turbines are designed to be hidden behind hills and in the glens. For the most part, they are positioned away from populated areas.
There is various survey evidence as well that suggests that once a wind farm is actually in place, there is less objection to it once people actually have the reality of it.
By being more exposed to them and seeing them daily, people can grow accustomed to and appreciate how they look.
I remember several years ago going to Freiburg in Germany, and it was a very similar situation where you saw lots of turbines. They just looked great.
There are over 19,000 wind turbines located in Germany, and there are plans to build more in the future with the public's support. Wind power produces about 6% of all of Germany's electrical power. In order to produce so much power, they have to be more liberal with their positioning. But there isn't the same controversy as there is in Scotland. In Germany, wind farms are seen as part of the infrastructure of roads and pylons that are used every day, not a separate, daunting presence. Because there are so many in public view, not hidden away, their use is obvious, and their visual impact on the landscape is accepted. Surveys have shown that the German people are considerably in favour of harnessing the wind's power. The majority seem to have accepted the aesthetics of the wind turbines, shown clearly by their positions on the landscape. Villages are watched over by them, and it's common to see hundreds of them lining the Autobahn as people travel every day. This is a possible glimpse of Scotland's future. With renewable energy targets set for 18% by 2010 and 40% by 2020, more wind farms are planned for construction. But can the Scottish people accept them and the way they look on the landscape?
As long as they weren't like right behind the house, I wouldn't mind seeing them in the distance somewhere, but yeah.
I would be perfectly happy. Apparently they're quite noisy, but aside from that.
They look really out of place. They look so like synthetic and streamlined, whereas like Scottish landscapes like wild, and that's the beauty of it.
Well, I mean, because literally, it's like just removing what was a bit of countryside, isn't it? It's no longer countryside. But on the other hand, you could see it as a massive sort of sculpture. On the other hand, if you had exactly the same sculpture on every hill in Britain, that wouldn't be very interesting, would it?
There's a lot of dross that we have to put up with design-wise anyway. I think windmills are less intrusive than sort of like your average road sign, to be quite honest, or your sign for some lousy Holiday Inn.
They will be accepted. I mean, I think the other issue is they become beautiful to people when they realise what the benefits are from them as well.
The change has started already, and as more wind farms are built, it's going to become more noticeable. There are two ways the Scottish people can react to this, and it is a question of attitude. They can reluctantly accept it as an inevitable result of an energy-consuming lifestyle, or they can embrace it, seeing the wind farms on Scottish hills as a proud display of moving towards a more environmentally friendly future.